Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates, coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. As we have done before, we're going to start off this program with a salute to the United States of America. I would ask you now to please join me in the singing of the United States National Anthem.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now would you make welcome, straight from Washington, D.C., the United States Army Corps Quartet.
Yeah.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Oh, yeah! Come on, folks, let them know it.
Let them know it. The United States Army, God, I can't even think this is straight. Talk straight. The United States Army Barbershop Quartet, performing at the Barbershop Quartet Convention in 2015. We want to thank these men for doing this for us. And folks, quite honestly, where else are you going to find people like this? Where else are we going to find people that want to do the job? Where else are we going to find people that are going to represent our country in a manner fitting to them and us? Now, folks, it's unreal. It's unreal. I find it a great privilege to be here with you. I find it a great privilege to do the things we're doing. If you just wait just a second with me, apparently we've lost our webcam. I don't know what happened. Just a second here. Oh, I don't know what happened. Oh, this is This is a fine how do you do. Give me just a second here. Let me see what I can do here. Canito Ware says they're getting a view there. It's not the view that I wanted to give you. It's a still shot from my other camera here. I don't know what happened here. I've never had this happen before. Yes. Yes, there's several camera adjustments. If you guys just help me, standing by with me for just a minute, let's see if we can fix this here. This is so stupid. Oh, that's weird. This is just so cut and picking weird, it's not funny. Oh, figures. Maybe we'll just have to go with this still shot for right now. Yeah, Canito Warrior says small still shot. I just enlarged it just a little bit. I don't know what happened. Right before we came on the air, everything was fine. And now, we've lost our camera here. Hold on a second. I've got another idea here. Got another idea. Just got another idea. Yeah. Technical difficulties. Please stand by. I hate technical difficulties. Gosh, this is stupid. I'll get it right. Let me see what I can do here. Huh. This is really weird. This is really, really weird. Hold on a second, guys. I'm going to try to fix this. I'm still working on this for just a second, guys. Just give me a second. I don't know what just happened here. This is just one of the weirdest things I've ever seen happen. Catherine Sigurdsson said her phone froze on her. I'm sorry that happened. I don't get it. I've been doing this for now almost 6 years, and this is the first time I've had an event happen. I can't believe it did. That's the weirdest thing. I don't have a clue what happened here. Okay, guys, I'm just going to go on with the program. You guys just have to bear with me with that screenshot. I don't know how that happened. This is the weirdest thing that's ever had happen to me. Anyway, guys, I'm so sorry about that. I do have a full program for you. One of the things I want to talk about tonight is a fire. The first thing I want to do is bring up the fire briefing. Please pay attention to this fire briefing, and we'll discuss it as soon as we get through showing this video to you.
The insurance coverage that they may or may not have. This is an important thing to note. Ricardo Laura has set up an 800 number, which I'm going to put up on our website. But I want you all to know that we are going to be working diligently with the state to make sure that those that are insured get the financial help they need. I'm also hearing that people, I know yesterday we announced that FEMA has set up a website, and I'm seeing that people are filling out the form and being denied. I'm following up on that to find out what is going on. because it is completely mind-boggling to me that people who have lost everything are filling out a form as told and then are getting an immediate denial. So if you have done that, please, 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 I'm going to try to get an answer within 24 hours to find out what's going on so that you all get the answers you deserve. If you have any questions and that you want answered during the meeting tonight, you can drop the questions in a chat during the live stream or submit them ahead of time via email to 2025.eaton@firenet.gov. Again, 2025.eaton, E-A-T-O-N, @firenet.gov. We've also extended the opportunity to utility companies to participate and answer your questions. I know that's another question we're getting is, when is my power going to come on? When is my gas going to come on? These are questions that we're going to be addressing tonight, so I would encourage you all to participate. And last but not least, and I've said it, and we've got elected town council up in the Alpena area, and I know of at least 4 have lost their homes. These are elected officials that are representing the community, and I want you all to know that they are with us. They'll be there on the virtual call tonight and are very, very, very much a part of the community, and I just want to acknowledge them because it's important for us to recognize that behind every single thing you're seeing on the TV, there are people's lives who have been impacted, and it is not lost on me. So with that, I'm going to introduce now Los Angeles County Fire Department Fire Chief Anthony Maroney to give you an update on the Eaton fire.
So good afternoon. Thank you, Supervisor Barger. The Eaton fire is estimated to be 13,956 acres with 3% containment. We have over 7,000 structures damaged or destroyed and 1,527 firefighting personnel on scene. Yesterday afternoon, the Eaton fire made a run towards historic Mount Wilson. The Mount Wilson Observatory and the telescope are undamaged thanks to the efforts of our firefighters and observatory staff. No buildings or infrastructure have been damaged or destroyed at Mount Wilson. We are appreciative to our many mutual aid and out-of-state fire partners for providing assistance to Los Angeles County in our time of greatest need. The current red flag event that we are under right now will expire at 6 p.m. this evening. However, we do anticipate another red flag event beginning on Monday, and I can assure everybody that LA County will be prepared. Before I close, I would like to thank Board Chair and 5th District Supervisor Catherine Barger for her unwavering support and leadership. I would also like to acknowledge the tireless efforts of all first responders who have put themselves in harm's way to protect residents and property. And to our residents impacted by this devastating fire siege, please rest assured that we will not stop until the fires are fully contained, and we will continue to be here for you as we plan for the repopulation, recovery, and rebuilding that will be occurring. Thank you. I would now like to introduce Assistant Sheriff Myron Johnson of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department.
Well, good afternoon. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department has deployed over 500 sheriff's personnel and still have actively deployed additional personnel to the fires. And that's in addition to our normal patrol staffing functions. Deputies have actively patrolled the evacuated areas and increased their presence in those areas for looting, deterrence, as well as burglary suppression efforts. Overall, the evacuations for the Palisades, Eaton, Hearst, Kenneth, and Lydia fires, evacuation orders approximately 100,053 residents are under evacuation orders, and approximately 57,830 structures remain at risk. Evacuation warnings, approximately 166,800 residents are under evacuation warnings, and approximately 50,837 structures remain at risk. As you heard our sheriff speak about yesterday and this morning, we have a curfew enacted in the affected areas. It's been established in the Palisades and the Eaton fire areas, and it's a mandatory evacuation zones, that will be in effect from 6 p.m. this afternoon until 6 a.m. tomorrow until further notice. This curfew will be strictly enforced and is being taken to enhance public safety, protect property, and prevent looting in areas where residents have been evacuated. We ask that all individuals comply with the curfew and stay clear of the impacted areas unless you're an authorized personnel member such as a fire representative or an emergency first responder. Anyone found in violation of the curfew will be subject to arrest for a misdemeanor under LA County Code section 2.68.320, and conviction of that section results in a fine up to $1,000 and jail time. We understand this is an extremely stressful and challenging moment for our residents in this community, but we appreciate the public's cooperation and we will work together during this crisis. We also have additional assets from the National Guard that are assisting in law enforcement efforts during this catastrophe. We requested the National Guard's assistance yesterday. Several National Guard members arrived last night and were deployed in the Eaton fire area and are assisting with road closures and critical infrastructure protection efforts. As additional National Guard personnel arrive, the Sheriff's Department will strategically coordinate their deployment to both the areas in collaboration with LAPD, Pasadena Police Department, Santa Monica Police Department, Azusa Police Department, and Arcadia Police Department. There continues to be criminal activity in the Eaton area, and we continue to make additional arrests since yesterday, but these numbers are still fluctuating and we're gathering the information. In total, we have made about 18 arrests between Eaton and the Palisades fire, 15 in Eaton and then 3 in Palisades. Charges include possession of narcotics, possession of burglary tools, burglary, identity theft, looting. One suspect was on active parole and was also charged with possession of a concealed firearm. Unfortunately, we have confirmed 8 deaths in our jurisdiction, 6 in the Eaton fire area and 2 in the Palisades County area. Our Homicide Bureau is working closely with the LA County Coroner's Office to respond to any deaths that have been reported. Our detectives have started to process certain investigations related to the fire, but they have to wait for access due to the dangerous conditions that still exist, such as downed power lines, leaking gas, and spot fires that are occurring. And just as Chief Maroney indicated, I'd like to acknowledge the hardworking men and women out there on the front line making sure this community is safe, and this department is dedicated to apply every resource we have to be with you until we can get a handle on this tragic event. And now with that, I'd like to introduce Operations Section Chief Don Fergulia.
Can I take liberty? I just, when I was done, I turned around and my colleague, Supervisor Janice Hahn, is here and would like to say a few words, but I want to publicly thank you, Supervisor Hahn, because I know that you've been working as Metro Chair to help navigate the transportation system as it relates to the impact of these fires. So with that, Supervisor Hahn.
Thank you, Supervisor Barger. I'm here to support you in any way. These fires have not touched the 4th Supervisorial District per se. I'm here supporting you, and thank you for your tremendous leadership on this. I've been touring your communities here in Altadena, and I am, like everyone else, devastated by what I'm seeing. Thanks again to the men and women in the Sheriff's Department, the Fire Department, CAL FIRE, all the fire departments that are here. And I specifically wanted to come see some of the stations that were from the 4th District. So some of my men and women from the 4th District are here. I talked to Norwalk, Paramount, I think Commerce is here. So I just wanted to tell them thank you for coming, and just make sure everybody realizes these firefighters are not going home, right? They are here round the clock. Appreciate everybody who's feeding them, who is making sure that they have an opportunity to sleep and take naps. Thank you for that. They have been amazing. But as Supervisor Barger said, as the chair of Metro, I've been on the phone with the CEO of Metro, Stephanie Wiggins, to get regular updates about our system. Big news is we will continue the free fares throughout the weekend. So free fares on our buses and trains through the weekend. Also, our system is very resilient. Since the fire started on Tuesday, only 2% of our buses have been canceled. None for the trains. And Metro will be unveiling this afternoon an overlay map that will show the evacuation centers around the county as it relates to the Metro system and stations. So that will be available to the public this afternoon. We know that keeping people moving, even during a disaster like that, is important. So thank you.
Okay. All right, good day, everybody. My name is Don Frigulia. I'm the Operations Section Chief for California Interagency Incident Management Team 5. I'm going to give you a quick operational update for the fire today. You got me now? Okay. We're going to start over here on the right flank as we're looking up the hill here in Santa Anita Canyon as we come into the community of Sierra Madre. A lot of really good progress here along the fire's edge. Mop-up patrol, and we expect to gain significant containment in this area this afternoon and this evening after we feel a little bit more comfortable and the red flag warning expires. We realize that there's a lot of work in here, and it's going to take many, many days for us to get through all the damage that has occurred here in the front country. So we ask for patience, and we know that that's not very easy, but that is what we are asking for at this time. As we move across the fire down here along the 210 corridor into Altadena area, again, this area still has a ton of activity going on in it, not just fire suppression, but also damage assessment, things of that nature. We're really diligent about what we're doing in there. We want to continue those efforts as the days progress. As we come up here into the general area of the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, we're looking really good through all of this red on the map you see here. Boots on the ground are engaged. We're mopping rotor wing. We're using aircraft in this area to hold this corner. We know this corner is critical for us, so we're making good progress here. As we move into this forest, into the general area, Mount Wilson was already mentioned. We did have to defensive fire around that last night, and everything's looking really, really good up there. We're not out of the woods yet. We still have more work to do up there, and we're ready to receive it, though, should that become necessary. Down the hill into Chantry Flat and the Santa Anita River, again, very challenging terrain for the troops out there. We're going to keep going after it, and in the coming days, you should see less and less smoke. So thank you very much. And next, Jason Schillinger, Unified IC.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. Like my Operations Section Chief mentioned, my name is Jason Schillinger, one of the Unified Incident Commanders. And to my side over here, I have several of my other Unified Incident Commanders with me today. First and foremost, I want to extend my deepest sympathy to the families and individuals affected by this devastating event. We recognize the fear and uncertainty you may be feeling, and our hearts are with you during this challenging time. Our top priority remains the safety and well-being of all residents and emergency personnel involved. We are also grateful for the support of all agencies who sent resources to our aid. Mutual aid agreements and cooperations with surrounding areas have been essential in containing the fire and protecting more lives and property. Firefighters are working around the clock in difficult conditions to ensure that this fire is contained and that no further lives and property are put in danger. We are confident that we are making significant progress, but it's important to remain on guard and follow safety advisories. I want to remind everyone that the safety of our community and first responder is our highest priority. At this time, evacuation orders remain in place in many areas, and we urge all residents to follow the directives immediately. Our Unified Incident Command Team has been in constant contact with state and local agencies to ensure that we have the resources needed to deal with this fire. We have 2 incident management teams assigned here. One team is focusing on suppression and one team is focusing on recovery, but both of our teams are focusing on one common goal. While we are not out of the woods yet, I'm confident in our ability to continue working together and to get through this crisis. The fire will be contained and we will rebuild stronger than before. In the coming days, we will be providing additional updates as the situation evolves. It is also important to note that investigations into the cause of this fire is ongoing, and we will share the information as soon as it becomes available. We are committed to transparency and ensuring that all factors are thoroughly examined. I ask for you continued cooperation and patience. Please remain alert to updates from local authorities, and if you have not already done so, follow all the evacuation orders and advisories. We will continue to work relentlessly to ensure that the situation is resolved and quickly as possible. Thank you for your time.
Before we open it up to questions, I want to acknowledge State Senator Sasha Renee Perez, who's been to each and every one of these press briefings. Thank you for being such an incredible representative, as well as Assembly Member John Harabadian. Thank you as well. And also our city representative from the city of La Cañada Flint Ridge, Michael Davitt. Thank you for being here. And then we've got U.S. Fire Administration, Dr. Moore, Merrill, right back here. Thank you as well as the U.S. Forest Service Chief Garcia. Thank you. So with that, we will open it up. Oh, I'm sorry. We've got our fire chiefs from the city of Sierra Madre, Chief Bartlett, fire chief from the city of Pasadena, Chad Augustine. So now with that, we'll open it up for questions, correct? Okay.
Thank you. That'll conclude our speakers today. So if you have a question, please say your name and the agency, and raise your hand, and we'll have our PIO come to you, and we'll direct your question at who you'd like to go to.
Craig Pickner.
Arcadia Fire Chief Swin. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Quite the media setup here. It worked well. Supervisor, I wanted to ask you, there were a lot of people who wanted to get past the National Guardsmen, the troops, to get property, to get clothes, medicine, and they had proper ID. They didn't seem to be troublemakers, and they were really bothered by that. I understand there's been a change in the instructions, so long as it's not during those curfew hours, 6 p to 6 a.
So I'm heading up there after this to find out what's going on. I mean, there's no question in my mind that I was on the way here, talked to a family that's lost their home, and they want to get up there, and their experience was different. They were allowed in, showing proper ID. We've got to be consistent, but we also have to recognize there are people that are going up there and doing things that are criminal. And, you know, I loved the fact that we talked about the arrest, but I think I love most is we have a DA, Nathan Hockman, who said he's going to prosecute to the fullest extent of the law. So I want that to be taken, and I want everyone to hear it, and I'm going to make sure, I'm going to follow each and every one of those cases to make sure that it does occur. But I'm going to follow up on that, and we'll get a clarification. I mean, the National Guard came in pretty fast, very fast, and we want to make sure we've got a consistent message. I know I've talked to also constituents who've said that the sheriffs have been very, very compassionate and given grace and let them go up, especially if they want to get their medications. So we're going to be working on that, so stay tuned.
Thank you. Hi, Supervisor. Quick question here. Jason Hamilton from Tri-County News. I have a question about donations. A lot of people have reached out to me, major corporations, for example, that would like to make some significant donations to help out with people that are still left behind. I've suggested things like chainsaws, rakes, gloves, respirators, masks, things like that. 2 points. A, can you, is there a list or a cohesive page that someone could go to look for things that might be necessary to donate? And B, is there a person of contact that's not necessarily the Red Cross, that's more localized, that we can get these items to that and get distributed to the residents that are in need of those things?
Yeah, and thank you for that question. I know yesterday when I was coming over here, Homeboys dropped off a huge order that they wanted to get up into the community. So, I mean, it's across as horrible as this is, you see the best in people. You also see the worst, but you see the best. And you can visit LAWorks, all one word, LAWorks.com/2025fires to get more information. I know that Flint Ridge Center, Octavia's Bookshelf are also accepting and distributing donations. So you can reach out, and Octavia's is an amazing bookstore, by the way. But you can go ahead and reach out to them as well. They're accepting donations and they're going to distribute them into the community.
Okay,
Thank you. And we'll make sure through our Emergency Operations Center that the information is up there as well, because we are getting asked about that. And I would say this, and the DA touched on it this morning, you've got scams taking place. You've got GoFundMe that are not legitimate. Please go to a website, and if it doesn't pass the smell test or if it sounds too good to be true, run it by you call my office, for God's sakes. I'll flush it out for you, but please do not fall for these scams. And I'm sorry that I even have to say it, but especially the GoFundMe. I've talked to people that already have seen GoFundMe, and they take a picture off of Facebook and put it up there of a family, and they say, we're devastated, we lost everything, and then you see the donations start. And they start low, by the way, with the donation amount they want, and then they keep increasing it. Because when you start low and you hit it, you can keep increasing it, but if you don't hit it, you don't get the money. So be cognizant of the fact that there are scammers out there, and by the way, if you're caught, the DA is going to prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law.
There have been a number of water distributions throughout Pasadena and Altadena. Can you talk about the status of the water in the local area?
You mean in terms of boiling?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you do?
So I'll break out question that with you because we don't have someone from the water here to talk about that, but we'll break out and we'll do an interview on the sidebar after that, if that's okay. Do we have any other questions?
And my understanding is on Pasadena's website there is a map outlining where, if you live in a certain proximity area, that you have to boil your water. So they are on a boil water alert for certain parts of the areas impacted by the fires. But we'll get you more information on that.
Hi, I'm Morgan from ABC News. I'm wondering if anyone's here to speak specifically about the level of devastation in Altadena. I saw a local official quoted saying that perhaps only a dozen or so homes are left in the area. Is anyone able to confirm that or speak on that?
I'm sorry, they said that there's only about a dozen or so homes left in there. Well, that is an exaggeration, but I will tell you, it looks like a war zone. I've never seen anything like it. You can go blocks where there's no homes, and then you go a block where you'll see a little bit of smoldering on a tree, but none of the homes have been impacted. We don't have a final number yet, do we, Chief Maroney?
No, we don't.
No, but there's no question that especially around Eaton Canyon, I was absolutely shocked is not even a word for the destruction that it caused in that area. And then I went up to Farnsworth Park, and gone. It's gone. So we'll have a final number, but there are homes standing, especially as you head more toward Lincoln. But it's spotty. I mean, this fire was unpredictable. You had the winds going every which way and going strong, so you could have embers traveling miles, which is what we saw. And so that's why we had this like a whack-a-mole.
Hi, Ashley Mackey with ABC7. A couple of people, residents who have been displaced, have asked me about mail and how they get that and forwarded to them, and holding packages, Amazon, that kind of thing. What should I tell them?
So the U.S. Post Office, and I think it's going to be at the Lincoln branch, is going to be holding mail. They're not delivering, obviously, for obvious reasons. But those that have been impacted by the fire, they can reach out to the post office, and they are coordinating an effort to make sure that people get access to their mail. And then for those that who still have their homes but are not getting the mail delivered, they're going to be coordinating that as well. So that's going to be rolled out through the United States Postal Service, but they are on top of it. Thank you for that question.
That will conclude our press conference. Anyone that would like to break out, we'll have Spanish-speaking PIOs along with other POs on the side. Thank you all for coming, and stay safe out there.
Okay, does anybody have any questions about what they said? Okay, I want to go over that first. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, I think this is important. Okay, this morning when I was
but right now we're going to go to NBC4's Michelle Valles. Michelle, you're in Altadena, and I hear the wind, so the wind isn't letting down from where you're at, and I see flames. Tell us what you're seeing.
We're at Midwick and Sinaloa, seeing one heck of a firefight. These people just arrived. This is the home that we entered the backyard to show this fire that was in the backyard here. And what you're witnessing is neighbors coming together to really just keep this home from burning in flames. 2285 Sinaloa here. This home next to it was on fire, and they were making gains here. They were making gains, and then all of a sudden the winds picked up, and you can just see how it's fueling the fire next door as these neighbors desperately try to keep their home from catching fire. They have 2 water hoses as they just try to water down the roof and the hedges of the home and the soffits and the rafters. But it's very scary here, but we've seen people staying behind here to just save their homes. There's no services here. It's every man for themselves. And we did have a lull just minutes ago. This is just how scary and unpredictable the situation is that 1 minute it looks like you have a fighting chance, and then the next the winds whip up and fuel the flames here. But this is across the street from Mike and Jenny Rogers. Remember, we met them about an hour ago. They were evacuated yesterday, and the home they went to was then evacuated as well. So they came back home early this morning. There they are right here trying to help out their neighbors. They've been trying to douse this home with water. They started early on because their house is okay. So I believe the father and son are on the roof. We have not met them yet because they've been fighting this fire here, but this is the home next door that is up in flames, and there's really a lot of homes on Sinaloa that just been destroyed, and it's just, like I said, they're giving it one heck of a fighting chance. It's dangerous, we know, but this is what they're choosing to do.
Okay, that's Pasadena, guys. The fire's moved from where it was over in Pacific Palisades down into Malibu, and now the Paradise, that was a couple years ago. The Palisades fire has moved south into Pasadena. So now we have the larger fire moving. Let me give you a briefing really quick, okay? As of this morning, the Palisades fire has increased its acreage. The Palisades fire has burned now over 20,478 acres. 20,478 acres. The Hearst fire out in Sylmar. As of this morning, it had burned 771 acres. The Kenneth fire. Now, down in the Kenneth fire area, we're going to talk about a suspect that was arrested for trying to start the fire, but he was not booked on as an arsonist. He was booked on violation of probation guidelines. He had been arrested before, released from prison, and now he's been rearrested for violating his probation. Yes, he was trying to start a fire down in the Kenneth Fire District, in the fire area. Now that fire has gone up to 1,000 acres as of 1 p.m. today. The Eaton fire. The Eaton fire has grown to 13,956 acres. The Eaton fire is 3% contained. The Paradise fire. Paradise. I can't get Paradise off my mind. The Palisades fire, guys. The one that I said had burned 26,458 acres. It's 8% contained. 8% contained. The Hearst fire had burned 771 acres as of 1 p.m. today. It's now 3% contained. The Kenneth fire has been burned 1,000 acres and is now 37% contained. Okay? And as I said, the Eaton fire has burned 13,956 acres. It's 3% contained. They're slowly but surely getting the handle on these fires. Now, I don't think these fires are going to be fully contained before the end of this weekend. I highly doubt it. But the problem is this, okay? Stand by for this. On Monday, we're going to see a resurgence of the Santa Ana winds. Resurgence of the Santa Ana winds on Monday, which means the wind frequency is going to go higher. We're going to get wind speeds of upwards of 60 to 100 miles per hour starting again on Monday. Right now, we're getting winds of maybe 15 to 20 miles an hour. But that can change. That can change, and it will change. But we're going to have to wait in here and see what happens here. Okay? Now, let me bring in KTLA. KTLA Channel 5.
They're keeping families together during this unimaginable time.
There are pets still in evacuated zones.
Oh, don't tell me this. Ah, oh, criminy sakes. I guess we're going to get buffered. Okay, while we're waiting for KTLA to come back here, I can go on here. For those people that have large animals, i.e. horses, okay, stand by. Stand by. Because those of you with horses in the Los Angeles area that have are trying to evacuate your property, we have a offer for you. Brindle Path. Brindle Path over, I believe it's in Pasadena. They have offered lodging to at least 60 horses and some other animals as well. They have space for 60 horses in the Brindle Path subdivision in Simi Valley. And they have room for other animals as well if you need a safe place for them. If you do, call 310-893-9337. Again, the Brindle Path in Simi Valley, you can call 310-893-9337. Okay? Their whole neighborhood is hosting the horses over there. Okay? It's an equestrian community. It's a homeowners association. So you may be able to get your horse or other animals over into the Brindle Path. I believe that's going to be open for you for quite some time. Now, what does this mean? We're trying to give you some options here. We're definitely trying to give you some options for yourselves and your horses. Now, the small animals, the animal shelters in Los Angeles are willing to help you. Call the animal shelters ahead of time before you just show up. If you just show up, you may be there for a little while. But if you go over there with an open mind, you'll be able to house your animals in the animal shelters throughout Los Angeles. Some places, such as the Pasadena Rose Bowl, is able to house larger animals. So you need to know that. Okay? I'm trying to come up with ideas for everybody. And sometimes it's kind of hard. I'll be quite honest with you. Sometimes it's been very hard coming up with ideas to help everybody in Los Angeles. Now, with that said, some things are inexcusable. Okay? Let me play this video for you. 180,000 people now are under evacuation orders. 180,000 people are under evacuation orders. Now, I want to tell you this. Some things that have happened are completely inexcusable. I'm going to let this story roll right here. I think you're going to be blown away.
So that number could change. Brian was forced to evacuate his home in Pasadena. And Brian, really, your area is coming into clarity now for just how much you've been through.
Yeah, Harris, I have to tell you, after seeing that press conference, I am flat out heartbroken and outraged. We are sick and tired in LA County of having liberal political leadership play Russian roulette with all of our lives. Look at that. Look at these images. This was preventable, Harris. I'm not saying it could have been stopped, but I looked on the news 3 days ago. I have a teenage daughter. You know, I'm a single parent. I've got a 9-month-old as well, with a nanny holed up in a hotel. 3 days ago, we see on the news, there are winds expected of 80 to 100 miles an hour, Harris. I looked at my teenage daughter, and I'm like, are you kidding me? That's hurricane force winds. What is our city? What is our county doing to try to help people understand what happens if these winds destroy our town and community? There was nobody on the TV out here in LA except Gavin Newsom doing his dog and pony show talking about what we're supposed to do when this happens. Nobody had done anything to remove soil and vegetation for the last year. Nobody tested the water pipes. This was not brain surgery. It was predicted. These winds were predicted. And don't believe Karen Bass when she says that an airplane with water could have saved lives in the Palisades. It's pipes. It's proper water. It's not diverting water for fish in California instead of saving human lives. You want to save human lives? Then do your job and have a plan in place. Harris, there was not an operational plan in place anywhere in LA County to help with this. And by the way, let's not just pick on Karen Bass. What about these LA County supervisors? They are powerful because I'm in LA County. Those supervisors, Harris, they show up at these press conferences after urban carnage, after kids have been murdered in LA County, and they try to tell you, oh, we're going to do this and that. What have they done to prevent it? We're sick and tired of this. It's inexcusable.
It's inexcusable. It's totally inexcusable. This should never have happened. This should never happen. Now, I have something else to show you. This may blow you away. Okay, I'm just going to tell you. This may blow you away. It seems like I'm being totally blown away by many things lately. Look at this. In Los Angeles, when Mayor Bass took over last year, okay, after the election in 2022, she took over as Los Angeles mayor in January last year. What's happened? The entire city has gone into the toilet. The entire city has gone into the toilet, guys. And I kid you not. The fire department. I'm going to talk about the upper echelon of the fire department in a minute. But people are stealing fire hydrants for money. They're stealing fire hydrants and turning them into salvage to get paid for the metal in the fire hydrants. It's incredible. They're stealing the fire hydrants, of all things. You would think the salvage yards would not take a fire hydrant before checking with the fire department to see if the fire hydrant has been stolen. There are numbers on the side of the hydrants that identify the hydrant for a specific place. And yet, people are stealing the fire hydrant, turning off the mechanism to control the water, and stealing the fire hydrant itself. Okay? Karen Bass, the mayor. What a floozy she is. This is all on her watch. This did not happen when Reardon was mayor. When Mayor Reardon had the helm in Los Angeles, yes, things were wrong. But Karen Bass has turned things upside down, and things have got very bad very quickly. Okay? It's unreal what's going on here. What in the heck is going on? This is unexcusable. Totally inexcusable. Should never have happened. Yet it is. And that's not the only thing, guys. That's not the only thing that's going on. Let's talk about the people that are the head of the fire department. On the left side, you see the fire chief. She's the first LGBTQIA fire chief for Los Angeles Fire. Look what she's getting paid. Nearly $500,000 a year as a fire chief. Yes, I agree she has responsibilities, but many of these responsibilities have been shirked. Christina Crowley, the fire chief. Let's talk about the first lesbian assistant chief over on the right-hand side. Her name is Christine Kepner. She has a salary of over $250,000 a year as assistant chief. The lady in the middle, you're not going to believe this one. I'm sure you're not going to believe this one. I couldn't believe it myself when I first found out about it. This lady here has problems. Huge monster problems. Okay? Remember the DEI department that I told you about yesterday? Guess what? She's in charge of it. She is in charge of it, guys. You can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. It's insane. It's literally insane. There's somebody else I want to introduce you to, and that's the lady in the middle. Her name is Christine Larson. She's the first black lesbian equity bureau chief. She's the first black lesbian equity bureau chief, DEI. Okay? The fire department never had a DEI bureau before. They do now. Kristen Larson, guess what? She gets paid $400,000 a year. $399,000 a year. Unreal. Unreal. All these lesbians took over the fire department, and the fire department's gone downhill. When Bass took over as mayor, she wanted to cut jobs. She wanted to cut the city salaries going out. So she put the word out among all the department heads throughout the city of LA. Well, guess what? It's gone downhill from there. The fire department under Christina Crowley, the fire chief, over on the left-hand side. She lowered the fire department wages and apparatus, meaning fire trucks and other equipment. She cut the budget from what it was down $23 million out of the budget. She cut $23 million out of the budget, putting fire stations on the blink, turning fire machines, meaning the fire trucks and other apparatus, turning them in so the city could get reimbursed. All because Mayor Bass wanted to cut the salaries, wanted to cut the budgets. The budget cut in the fire department was $23 million. Unreal. And you wonder why the fire department in Los Angeles is having trouble keeping up with the fires throughout Los Angeles. Unreal. Unreal. Christina Crowley over on the left-hand side, Christina Kepner over on the right-hand side, and Christina Larson in the middle. All three of them lesbians. All three of them outed LGBTQA1+, or AI+. Unreal. Now again, I don't want to have anybody say that I'm a racist or that I am prejudiced. I am not. But these people have let their sexual identities out. And they've done nothing but turn the department upside down. Los Angeles City Fire cannot any longer do its job. They can't do their job. And it's evidenced because, number one, they don't have the people. Number two, they put these people in charge that have no clue what they're doing. And number three, they're forcing their sexual identities out on everybody else by starting the first DEI Bureau. Unreal. Uncut and picking real. Again, I don't think this should have happened. Now, there are so many things wrong. Not only do many of the fire hydrants not work in Los Angeles, hundreds of them were stolen and sold for scrap metal before the fires even broke out. Bad guys know they will face zero accountability. Bad guys know they will face zero accountability if they're caught. So they rob and they loot with impunity as basic disorder breaks out. Basic disorder breaks out. Law breaking. This is all a decision. Destruction is a decision. All of this is preventable. All of this is preventable. I can't help but think that if this had not happened, we would not have the fires we're having now. Now, someone last night mentioned something else, okay? About setting the fires. Setting the fires. There are some people, and I'm talking people within the city of Los Angeles and across this nation, that also believe that the LA city was set up. They want to turn the LA city into a 15-minute city. They want to turn it into a 15-minute city. They've been talking about Maui doing the same thing over in Lahaina. Now, the Lahaina thing has been temporarily put on hold because the people in Maui have said, no, we do not want the 15-minute city in. 15-minute cities are engineered cities where people are compacted into one area. Apartment buildings and condominiums. Okay? They want to burn the place down and then rebuild it for 15-minute cities. Incredible. Burn it down and turn it into a 15-minute city. Unreal. They did that in Maui. Look what happened. Look what happened. Is San Francisco next? Okay? It's incredible what's going on. It's incredible what's going on. And then we have the gangs. Then we have the gang problem in Los Angeles. For instance, this guy. This guy was caught by citizens over in Hollywood area. Was caught by citizens and held. How did the citizens hold him? 3 citizens got together with electrical ties, wire ties, and hooked him up. And then they called the police for him. He's homeless. He's a gang member that's homeless. And I also have information to suggest that the gangs in Los Angeles are going around setting the fires. This guy was caught with a blowtorch in his hand in an area where there had been fire setting. The citizens that caught him trying to set a fire. Citizens caught him, made a citizen's arrest. The police arrived there, but he was not arrested as an arsonist. He was arrested for violation of probation. So now he's going to go back to prison. The police said there was not sufficient evidence to lock him up for starting fires. Unreal. Literally unreal. What's going on here? What's going on? The city of Los Angeles and other cities are under attack. Literally. Literally. 2 days ago, there were over 400, almost 500,000 people without power because of the fires. Now the fire department has started putting the fires out. But as I said, the Pacific Palisades fire has burned over 1,000 structures. 1,000 structures. 26,438 acres. 3% contained. 8% contained. But the fire is still moving. The fire is still moving. What's really going on here? And people are still starting fires. As of yesterday morning, the police and sheriff's office had arrested over 50 people trying to start fires. They caught one. They've caught one person, and it wasn't the police that caught him. It was the citizens keeping an alert eye out, trying to protect their neighborhoods from these fires. It's still going on. This morning I saw a video of arsonists or gang members riding around on bicycles with blowtorches starting fires. In one such case, they'd start a fire right next to an apartment building in a small, very, very small field right next to two different apartment buildings. They stood on somebody's patio. After they started the fire between the two buildings, they stood on the patio watching their fire build. Unreal. What are these people doing? Burning down their city. The gang members are burning down the city. I don't know. I just don't know. It's continuing, guys. It's not getting any better. It's not getting any better. What's up with that? What's up with that? Does anybody have any questions about anything we talked about? Or does anybody have any questions about the press briefing? I do have some answers for you if you do. Linda Cummings says, target practice. Oh, give me a chance. Give me a chance. You put my life or somebody else's life in danger, your life is gone. Your life is gone. Shalene Mayo says, sweeping of equities by fire. Tragic human displacement through obscurity. And the wealthy, reinvest as homeowners, are left with homeless. Homeowners and families left homeless. And no government help is on the way. Whose neighborhood is next? I agree. Now, last night, after the funeral for Jimmy Carter, Biden and Harris met in Washington, D.C. with some of their cronies. They have said that the city of Los Angeles has full FEMA support. Full FEMA support. That the city of Los Angeles will get federal funds to rebuild. Again, I'm asking, is this rebuilding going to be a 15-minute community? High density, high rent, and the federal government and the local officials getting their pockets padded? That's what it seems like. That's exactly what it seems like, because nothing else is done. Our federal government is acting on its own without anybody watching it. This is crazy. This very much is crazy. Now, Sage Pup says he has a question. Remember back in rioting ran by the Dems? Could this all be connected to a larger nationwide attack? Just wondering. That Sage Pup, that question ran through my mind this morning. They've already had riots in Los Angeles during the past 3 or 4 years that Biden's been in charge. The riots started with COVID. The city closed its doors. The city ordered Los Angeles closed up, lock, stock, and barrel. Somebody started a fire along the coastline. A whole business community went down from that fire. Burned it to the ground. Burned it to the ground. The gangs ran around and got away with it. The gangs ran around like nothing was going on, because nobody was stopping them. Because the business has been locked up tighter than a drum. Yes, Sage Pup, it could be it. It could be it. Layla says Antifa reassigned. I agree. Antifa organized by who? Barack Hussein Obama. Barack Hussein Obama. Don Kilman says gauge the public until the next tragedy comes along. Oh yeah. The next tragedy is going to come along. My question is, what's next? Where is it going to be? Where is it going to be? Rebecca is asking, what's the possibility of people suing Los Angeles for not being able to put water out? I agree. For inadequate safety for their losses. I think that's a good thing to do. Sue the city of Los Angeles. Sue that idiot in Sacramento, Newsom. He is the one that shut down 2 dams in California. Shut them down. Lowered the water level in the dams and then shut the dams down and tore them apart. Letting the water run out into the ocean. To save those little tiny bait fish for fishing boats. Okay? That's what was in the river deltas at the ocean. These tiny bait fish, 2 to 3 inches long. Saving those fish in the deltas. Letting all that water go out. This is probably, it's probably more the governor's fault as well. Karen Bass and the governor. I'm not going to let Karen Bass off the hook. She's just as responsible. But so is Governor Newsom. So is Governor Newsom. He's worthless. He's worthless. And yet, he is the one that is saying, oh, we're going to get Los Angeles rebuilt. Oh, really? Let me tell you something else. He just bought a $9 million home. Newsom just bought another $9 million home. Well, guess what? A friend of mine who's a realtor put all the facts and figures together to let us know how much a $9 million home would cost. Number one, you have to have at least a down payment. 20% down payment on a $9 million home. That's $225,000. $225,000. That's for starters. Then you have taxes. You have property taxes on top of that. Then you have insurance costs. In order to buy that $9 million home, it actually cost New Scum $2.5 million to buy it. $2.5 million to buy it. Then you want to know what the monthly payment is on that $9 million home? $250,000 a month. $250,000 a month. Unreal. Where's he getting the money? Governors don't get paid $200,000 and $300,000 a year. I think they probably get paid as much as $175,000, $180,000 a year. Where's that money coming from? Actually, it's probably a lot more than that because the stupid fire chief and her cronies are getting paid megabucks. Megabucks. $500,000 a year. Unreal. And the beat goes on. Charlene says, follow the money and you'll find answers. I agree. Linda's asking, where does Governor Newsom live? He lives just outside of Sacramento, California. His house is a $2.5 million house where he lives now. He's buying a $9 million mansion. He's buying a $9 million mansion now. Okay? It's incredible. Heidi Petrick says, I'd be really surprised if Newscom and Bass aren't taken to task by the people. You can't be mooing sheep forever. I agree. And yes, this LA fire is going to be the downfall of both Bass and Governor Newsom. Governor Newsom has not taken down those two dams, and he had allowed the other dams to be full up. He would have had plenty of water at the fire hydrants to put out these fires. But he didn't do that. He did not do that. He allowed those dams to go down. He destroyed the other two dams that have to be rebuilt again by another governor. But it goes on. It goes on and on and on. California is going down the tubes. California is going down the tubes, guys. And it's very unfortunate that it's happening. It's very unfortunate that it's happening. But it continues going. Like I said, LA Fire, look at the salaries there. The fire chief makes just under $500,000. The lesbian assistant chief over on the right-hand side making just over $250,000. And the crony that's head of the DEI section makes $399,000. $399,000. Unreal. Ian Blundell is saying, Ron, they have money we don't. You're right. They do have money that we do not have. That's pretty sad, isn't it? It's unreal. It's unreal. Now, Rebecca's talking to Renee Steppe, and I think she ought to be talking to me as well. Renee is saying, it sounds like you got some thunder snow. You're right. You're right. Today it's been snowing. Today it's been snowing. It's unreal what's going on. It's been snowing since about 12:30, 1 o'clock this afternoon. We may have nearly a half inch of snow. And we're told that we may have upwards of 1 to 3 inches of snow by tomorrow morning. 1 to 3 inches of snow by tomorrow morning. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Let me go over to my weather report here and give you an idea of what's going on. A winter storm warning remains in effect until 7 a.m. Saturday morning. Portions of northeast Georgia, the Piedmont, western North Carolina, and upstate South Carolina. Now till Saturday morning at 7 a.m. Impacts: snow and ice accumulations will make many roads treacherous and impassable. The weight of the snow and ice on trees and limbs will cause power lines to snap. Scattered power outages. Hazardous driving conditions could impact the evening commute, which it did. Everybody, if you are here on the East Coast, in Georgia, South and North Carolina, going up into Virginia, be very careful. Monitor the latest forecasts in your area. Slow down and use caution while traveling. If you must travel, keep a flashlight, food, and water in your car with you, as well as vehicle tools. Be prepared. Additional snow and sleet accumulations from 1 to 3 inches and ice accumulations around 0.2 of an inch. Black ice on the roadways. Unreal. That's between now and 7 a.m. here in North Carolina. You can count on that. You can definitely take that to the bank. Now this is Friday, Emergency Preparedness Friday. Rebecca says ice here, trees may fall. I agree. Heavy ice on the limbs will snap the trees, and the tree limbs snapping will cause the power lines to go down. Do not walk over a power line. Do not ever walk over a power line. Walk around it or stay away from it. Don't get near it. Now I want to talk about preparedness planning. Preparedness planning in the way of fires, floods, snow and ice. Things that we're seeing right now around this country. Fires and flooding that are going to go on in Southern California. Yes, for now, they've had high winds and Santa Ana conditions, but sooner or later, they're going to have flooding again. It's coming. Now, when I'm talking to you about emergencies and evacuation plans, my dad was a very busy man. Growing up, we didn't see hide nor hair of him during the day. Sometimes when I could, I was helping him in his work. But he always made time for each member of our family to be with him and work with him and have fun with him. From time to time when we were little, our parents didn't have much. And they worked to put things away for a rainy day. When we became teenagers, our parents started putting our family on a survival mentality. And they started working on a food storage program for our family. We actually conducted seminars on cooking with wheat and other things that we had in our house. We conducted seminars on survival cooking. So people in their church and other places around Poway, California could learn what it would take to be on a survival budget. We actually conducted seminars on cooking with the food that we had in our house. And we were all working on it as well, in our own families. If there was a fire, if there was flooding, if there was mud or blood, we would have to sort it out ourselves with our families and family issues, and try to help others that might be affected by emergencies and disasters. Remember, never ever forget what I'm going to tell you now. Don't give away the store. Don't give away the store. Okay? Remember that phrase. Don't give away the store. Now, our message now is this. What if there had been a fire, a flood, or mud, or blood? What if there had been a fire, a flood, mud, or blood? Does our family have a plan for dealing with a medical emergency or a natural disaster? Does your family have a plan to deal with any kind of natural, man-made disaster or any kind of medical emergency? I would hope so. Keep on hand. Keep stuff on hand, guys. Keep stuff on hand. You never know when something's going to happen. You never know when something's going to happen, and it will. If it has not already happened, it's going to happen. I promise you that. If it has not already happened, it's going to happen. It's going to happen in your neck of the woods and my neck of the woods. You can take it to the bank. I've been there and done that. I have been there and I've done it. Okay? I just found a picture that I could put up here so you knew that I was paying attention to you. You need to plan. Los Angeles, the families in Los Angeles, in the Pacific Palisades area, in the Pasadena area, in the Hollywood Hills area, and the Eaton area of Los Angeles, they didn't have a choice. They were under strict emergency situations. They were told they had to leave. Were they prepared? Did they have an emergency preparedness kit? Did they have food that they could take with them? I think not. Last night I showed you a video of a couple interviewed by a reporter inside their car, leaving their home. They took their pets. They took their clothes that were on their back. Only a handful of other items. They had nothing left. They had absolutely nothing left. We need to plan. We need to have an emergency plan. I've talked about this many times before. When a disaster strikes, you need to have an action plan, so if you can't shelter in, you can get out quickly and take the things you need to survive. Keep everything in one place will be more helpful. Keeping your survival supplies in one place will be very helpful. Yes, I have 2 containers here in my office. I've got a huge 72-hour kit downstairs. Also downstairs, we have a very well put together emergency kit with all kinds of food. 6 months worth of food there. We have a medical kit. We have a medical kit with prescription medication and other kinds of medication. We need it. Advil, Tylenol. We have my insulin and other kinds of medications that we need, as well as the medications my wife needs. We have that in a huge preparedness kit, as well as a cache of cash that we've kept on hand. Every cent we get, every penny that we get, and when we get some dollar bills and such like that, anything under a $10 bill, we put away. Anything under a $10 bill, we put away. The rest we put in the bank. So now we have somewhat of a cash on hand in case we have an emergency. We don't touch it unless we have an emergency. Period. But you need to have a plan, guys. You need to have a plan. Keeping everything in one place is going to be very helpful. I recommend a go binder. I recommend a go binder, a 3-section go binder. Okay? Keep your grab and go binder up to date. Keep your grab and go binder up to date. Store it with your 72-hour kits or your emergency preparedness kit. Having everything together will speed up your evacuation process if you have to evacuate. Again, a lot of people in Los Angeles were given orders to evacuate. They were not given a situation where you're going to need to evacuate. This is an emergency order, but it's not. It's a warning. They had emergency warnings out. If they got an order to evacuate, it was get out now. Don't think about it, but get out now. If you have all your supplies in one place, it's easier to get out now. Okay? Some places had orders, and others had warnings. Now, as I have said before on this program many times, if you're under warning, get everything together and get ready to get out. And in my mind, if I've been given a warning, that means I need to get out as well. Gather all your things together and put them in your vehicle so you can bug out. Okay? Make sure you have enough food and water. Make sure you have enough food and water for each family member. And if you have pets, you're going to want to make sure you have enough pet food and water for your pets. If you have kids and pets, pack their favorite snacks and toys. Pack their favorite snacks and toys. You need to help them so they can help you. What do I mean by that? If you have toys and snacks for them, they're going to be more satisfied. Dogs are a different story. Sometimes dogs will play games for a little while, but not like children. But you're going to want to keep them occupied. Otherwise, you're going to have an angry dog, an angry cat, an angry child that is bugging you up the yin-yang. Keep them occupied. With children, coloring books are helpful. Busy books are helpful. Games are helpful. And games will also help you keep distracted from what's going on. Like I said, if you have kids and pets, pack their favorite snacks and toys. Pack their beds. Pack their favorite blankie. Okay? Their favorite sweater. Whatever it is. This is going to help you keep them occupied. And in keeping them occupied, that's going to give you the time to do the things you need to do to keep your family together. Keep your routine the same as possible. Keep your routine much the same as possible for every day. That will help the little ones adjust and also help your pets adjust. Now, consider different scenarios here. What happens if your family gets separated during a disaster? Create a meeting location. Create a meetup location, or a safe place to go. It's a good idea to make a map of your house and have an exit plan. Have an exit plan on the inside of every door. An exit plan on the inside of every door. That way every family member will see it. The more they see it, the more they're going to see it and remember it. The more they remember it, when an emergency comes along, they're not going to forget it. It's going to be mapped out in their heads. Okay? You should have at least 2 exits from every room, just in case one is blocked. And keep the exit plan on the fridge as a daily reminder. Keep the exit plan on the fridge as a daily reminder, because everybody in the house, including our dogs here, in our case, go to our refrigerator all the time. They know darn well that's where we keep our food. No, we don't keep their food in our fridge all the time. We just don't. But something else you need to think about. Practice your plan. Practice your plan. Make sure everyone knows your plan. Make sure everyone knows where to go. Make sure everyone knows where that meeting place that you might have outside your home is, where it is. That way, if you can't meet up at your home, you can meet up at that meeting place. Know where it is. Make sure your children and your animals know where that meetup place is. Practice. Practice, practice, practice. Pick a tree. Pick a mailbox or a neighbor's house across the street for everyone to meet at. Perhaps grandma's house is nearby, but outside of the danger zone. Many pets are left behind, like we've seen already during this disaster in LA. Many pets are left behind because in a crisis situation, they can't plan. And most people other than us can't plan. They don't even think about it. They leave their pets behind. That's a no-no in my book. That will get me to kick your butt if you leave your pets behind. Do not leave your pets behind. I've seen what happens when people do that. There was one place down in, I believe it was New Orleans, where I saw somebody that left their dogs behind, locked up in a kennel. 3 dogs treading water. 3 dogs have been left treading water. The U.S. Coast Guard came by in a boat and took those dogs out of the kennel, helped them rest, and gave them food and water to drink. Those dogs were exhausted. I never ever want again to see that happen. That makes me mad. That makes me furious. You want to make old Ron furious? That's the way to do it. Don't do that. Take your animals with you. If you won't leave your children behind, don't leave your animals either. And I never want to see anybody leave their children behind. During this fire, there are some parents that left their kids locked up in their house. They left their children locked up in their house. And then they tried to get back to the house. I have my children there. Were you at the house? Yeah, but I got so upset and crazy that I just got in the car and took off. Why didn't you bring your children? I forgot. I don't want to ever hear that again. Can you imagine the mind of the children, knowing their mother and father or their mother left them behind? Can you imagine that? It's incredible. Ashley's back here in the chat. Thanks for being here, Ashley. She was one of our buddies here on our program years ago. I'm glad you found us back. Just to give you an idea, Ashley, YouTube took my last channel down where you knew me. Within a matter of days, I was back on this channel. I got another channel up. Now I've been on this channel nearly 2 years. I've been now on the air a total of 6 years, coming this April. I'm glad to have you back, Ashley. It's a pleasure to have you here. God bless you for that. But folks, don't forget your kids and don't forget your animals. In our case, our dogs are our children. We consider our dogs, Holly and Crystal, our children. We treat them like that. Now, let me talk to you about that as well. My parents were furious with my mom's parents because my mom's parents had a brown Chihuahua. My mom's parents had a brown Chihuahua named Chico. My grandmother brushed Chico's teeth several times a day. My grandmother pampered Chico, and Chico followed my grandfather around everywhere he went. If he was sitting on the sofa watching TV, Chico would lay on the sofa next to him or on his lap watching TV as well. Unreal. Unreal. Our dogs do the same thing. Our two, Holly and Crystal, do the same thing. If you have dogs, pets, cats, whatever you have, take them with you. Don't ever leave them behind. Okay? I saw horses being evacuated down the street. In one case, the guy had like 16 horses, and he and his girlfriend or wife guided two of the horses each down the street. The others they just let go to fend for themselves. Don't do that, please. Those animals are also scared. Though they have feelings as well. Don't leave them behind. Don't leave them behind. Okay? Many pets are left behind in crisis situations because the parents, the family, fails to plan ahead. Make a plan for your children. Make a plan for your pets. Check to see if there's a kennel or a friend nearby who can watch your fur babies for a few days in the event of an emergency. Keep your car prepared as well. I have a preparedness kit for our car with some tools. We have an extra plastic bottle of oil. We have another plastic bottle of antifreeze. We have some tools to fix the car as well as jumper cables and other things you might need in case of an emergency with a car. A tire iron. We have a way to jack up the car in case we blow a tire. We have a spare tire as well. Keep your car prepared. Make sure you have plenty of water, and in this case, during the wintertime, have blankets and jackets in the car for every person in the car. Okay? The hurricanes from last year and previous years, and the fury that they caused, put residents from the East Coast and down south at risk. In Texas, for instance, there was a run on gas. In Florida, there's a run on gas. In areas that are affected, roads were gridlocked. Remember these hints to minimize the stress associated with having a gridlocked roadway. Keep your gas tank full, or as full as possible. Never let your gas tank get below half empty. Don't let your car get below the halfway full mark. Okay? If you see a storm looming, top off your car's gas tank every day until the threat is over. Don't let your gas tank get low. Please. Now, if you have to leave your house, where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? We talked about bugging out before. And I'm going to talk about it briefly right now. Make a hotel or campsite reservations ahead of time. Make hotel or campsite reservations ahead of time. How can I do that with a hotel or a campsite? Go visit them. Go visit the hotel, go visit the campsite. At the hotel or the campsite, you tell the campsite director or the hotel manager what you're thinking. If there's an emergency, I want to make sure I have room that I and my family will be able to use in case of an emergency where we have to leave our home. Most hotels will say, oh, no problem. give us $50 and we'll save you a place. Give us $50 and we'll save you a place. They will do that. They will do that. Or however money that they might need. Most of the time, since you're not going to even be there for any kind of emergency at all, it might not be much money at all that they ask you to have. Okay? But they may ask you for a small amount of money to hold a spot for you and your family. A campsite or other place you may want to have a reservation, but usually those campsite directors may say, okay, no problem, give us $20 and you'll always have a space available. They will always keep one space available for you. Okay? Use these sites ahead of time. Make contact with them ever so often so they know you are checking with them. Make sure they're still going to allow you to be there. Okay? Use sites also that allow you to cancel reservations if you don't need to evacuate. Now, I've always told you all, have 3 different places you could go. Have 3 separate destinations you can go in case of an emergency. That way, if something's full up, you have some place to rely on. Think about that. You don't want to be stuck without a shelter. You don't want to be stuck without a shelter if you need to get out of town. Now, have emergency reserves inside your car. You have a 72-hour kit or a 14-day kit. Have those reserved in your car. Have blankets and heaters ready in the winter and extra water in the summer. The other night when we were talking about preparedness, someone mentioned hand warmers or foot warmers. Those are something very easy to put in the car. They don't take much space, but they will come in handy in the case that you're going to be out in the cold and they're going to be able to warm you up so you'll be a little more toasty and not that uncomfortable or put you in danger. Okay? Keep these things in your car. Blankets, heaters ready in the winter, and extra water in the summer. Now, the other thing, leave in plenty of time. Don't wait for an evacuation order to be given. I've told you this story before. When I lived in American Fork, Utah, before I married Carol, my former brother-in-law and his family lived at the bottom of American Fork Canyon in a pretty ritzy housing development. Well, guess what? There was a fire that was sweeping down American Fork Canyon, headed right for my brother-in-law's house. We went there to try to save their lives. We went there to help them evacuate, but my brother-in-law wasn't having anything to do with it. I took things out and put him inside his car so he and his wife and kids could be able to evacuate. And he was fighting me every step of the way. Then all of a sudden, a sheriff's deputy rolled up, said, you have to get out, and you have to get out now. And I said, you need to talk to that gentleman right here. I showed him my credentials, and the deputy knew that I was an emergency manager, that I was there trying to get him out. I said, talk to that gentleman right there and tell them they need to get out now. Not in a few minutes, but now. And I finally got my brother-in-law to move and get his wife and kids loaded up. My wife and I had already put things into their car. Don't wait until you're forced to move. Don't wait until you're forced to move. Okay? Leave in plenty of time. Give yourself some time. If you feel there's going to be a valid threat, leave. Don't wait for traffic to get really bad. Don't wait for the officer or deputies to come there and threaten you. Leave while you still have time. Don't leave under stress. Don't leave under stress because you're going to forget things that you're going to need. You're going to forget things you're going to need. You and your family should have a written out emergency plan with phone numbers and addresses and safe places to go. Also consider pre-planned escape routes in and out of your city. Pre-planned escape routes in and out of the town where you live in or your neighborhood that you live in. I've told people have 3 places to go and also 3 different routes to get there. Stay off of main roads and highways. Stay off and away from main roads and highways. Why? Because you might hit a roadblock. You might hit a roadblock where there's National Guard people there as well, and they're going to wonder where the heck you're going with when they see their car packed up. Well, number 1, it's none of their business. Number 2, they should know that you're getting out of Dodge. Okay? Whatever you do, do not wear fatigues. Do not wear camouflage clothing. Okay? Because then they're going to think that you are one of them. Okay? Keep a low profile. Keep a low profile. Have a hard copy of your phone tree on paper. Have a hard copy of your phone tree on paper. Do not rely on your phone. Your phone could go dead. Your phone could lose power and die. Where would you be then? Okay? Make sure you have a phone tree. Keep your phones charged. Keep your phones charged. Right here on my desk and downstairs, Carol and I have backup batteries for our phones. I've shown you the backup battery Carol and I have in our house. It's from 4 Patriots, where you can plug 2 phones into the same time and charge them. We've used them. We've used them quite frequently ever since Hurricane Helene came in here last year and knocked out our power for 2 days. We used it. Okay? Cash. I briefly mentioned cash a short while ago. Have cash in small bills. Have cash in small bills. You can put the cash in a bag in your binder, and I'm talking about a Ziploc bag. Put your cash in small bills in a Ziploc bag. You can keep them in your binder, or you can keep them in your preparedness kit. Either way, you need to have cash on hand. Use small bills. If a store is without power, they're not going to be able to cash a $20 bill. They're not going to be able to cash a $50 bill. They may not even be able to cash a $10 bill. I'm telling you to keep cash in denominations of less than $10. $5 and $1 bills. All of our money is $5 bills and $1 bills. A lot of $1 bills. And we have a couple handfuls of small change as well. Okay? Keep that on hand. You're going to want to have a cache of cash because the ATMs are not going to be available. The ATMs are not going to be available. And if they are, the government could also limit the amount of money that you're going to get out of your ATM. Yeah, they're going to. At some point in time, they're going to shut down the banks. Okay? It's going to happen. For example, today, the stock market crashed. The stock market, the DOW, crashed today. Why? Because the stock market investors are preparing for an economic crash here in the United States. That's why the Dow went way, way down today. The investors of our government, the investors of our nation, are taking their money out because they know what's going to happen. They know what's going to happen. Okay? So keep cash on hand. Don't keep any large bills at all. Maps. Do not depend on your phone when it comes to maps. Don't depend on your phone maps at all. Again, your phone could die. For using your phone too much, even finding maps, could wear out the battery. And then what are you going to do? Make sure you have paper maps available. That way you can still follow your plan on the map. On your paper map, use color pens or pencils. Lightly sketch in the routes that you're going to use to get out of Dodge. Like you said, have at least 3 routes you can travel on, and each route has a different color. That way you know the different routes and streets. You're not going to get mixed up. Every route is a different color, and 3 destinations go with it. Okay? I keep the maps and also in a Ziploc binder. Okay? That keeps my maps good. It protects my maps from getting wet or even having any dew on the maps, which would screw up all of the notations that I've made on the map. Yes, you can make notes, take notes and put them on your map as well. Okay, do that. Emergency routes again. When making your emergency evacuation plan, make sure you have created emergency routes to travel on. 3 different routes to travel on. And 3 separate locations in case one place is full up. That way you will always have an opportunity for shelter. Okay? Consider the following according to your emergency needs. High traffic on roadways. High traffic on roadways. During the emergency, is the government going to open up the roadways to head in one direction away from the emergency? Or are they going to stop everybody? Are they going to have a blockade? Think about it. Are we going to be stopped by authorities to have our vehicle checked for any reason? Not if I can help it. Do we have prearranged plans to get out of town before checkpoints or other authorities that are going to stop us for whatever reason? Think about it. Think about it. Where are you going to go? Are you going to be with family? Are you going to meet up with friends? Are you going to go to a hotel or a campground? Or do you have prearranged meeting plans for all of us? Do you have prearranged meeting plans to meet up with your family or your friends? How about low water crossings? Low water crossings. Places that are flooded. Places that have the propensity for flooding. Stay away from them. High traffic roadways such as highways. Stay away from those during an emergency. Back roads and trails. Use back roads and trails. Use surface streets to get around. The surface streets more than likely not be as clogged up as the highways are. If you know the back road and trail system, use it. You can avoid excess traffic on the roads. Make sure you know alternative routes to use in case you have blocked up roads. Alternative routes in case you have blocked up traffic. Now, we talked about family plans for emergencies. How about a family fire escape plan? Think about it. Do you have a family fire escape plan? You need one. You need one. You need to think about it. You live in a flood zone or on an earthquake fault? Or do you live near a forest that can catch fire? Know the dangers in your area and how to get out safely. What is your family's evacuation plan? Don't tell me, write it down on paper. Know what you're going to, where you're going to go and what you're going to do. Don Patoka says one of the key things is being planned and prepped. Planned and prepared for being self-reliant, especially full situational awareness. Full situational awareness. Only do those things possible within your own means. If you can't do it, don't plan on doing it. Only do those things that are within your own means. Don't count on anybody else to help you, because it's likely you're not going to have anybody else to help you. Improvise where needed. Think outside of the box. Think outside of the box. Do you live in a flood zone or on an earthquake fault? If so, how are you going to get around? Think about the dangers. Think about a forest that could catch fire. Know the dangers in your own area and how to get out safely. What is your family's evacuation plan? What is your family's evacuation plan? Don't tell me, tell yourself, tell your family. Write it down. Write it down, guys. Please write it down. Okay? Don again is here in the chat. He says, amazing make-do improvised engineering. Make-do improvised engineering. Okay? You're going to be amazed at what you can think of and what you might be able to do. Watch what you're doing. Know what you're going to do. Linda Covington says, looking for a cave. I'm with you there, Linda. I'm totally with you there. I'm looking for a cave too. Now, before we go tonight, I've been very much thinking about what I was going to tell you as a devotional for tonight's program. There's a lot going on through my mind. There may be a lot going on in your mind as well. I want to leave you something that could be very worthwhile to you and also to me. I came upon two scriptures in 1 Corinthians in the 4th chapter. I'm going to go over to 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 10. 1 Corinthians 4, verse 10. The beginning says, we are fools for Christ's sake, but you're wise in Christ. We all need to be wise in Christ. If we are weak, we need to become strong. You are honorable. You're not despised. Now Paul goes on in verse 14. I write not these things to shame you, but as my beloved sons, I warn you. As my beloved sons, I warn you. And this goes for daughters as well. Remember verses 20 and 21 here. For the kingdom of God is not in word, but in power. What will ye? Shall I come unto you with a rod? What will ye? Shall I come unto you with a rod, or in love, and in the spirit of meekness? I think about that all the time. I hope I'm not coming to any one of you during these programs with a rod. If some of you thought that I would have been a rod, I'm sorry. That's not in my being. I want to give you the information I have for you with love. Yes, a lot of people aren't paying attention because maybe I should have been more strict. Maybe I should have been more hard in my actions. Maybe I should have been, because more people might have become more prepared. That's not me. I'm not going to try to force anyone to do anything that they're not willing to do. But on the same token, we need to be prepared. For the kingdom of God is not word, but in power. What will ye? Shall I come unto you with a rod or in love? or in the spirit of meekness. Folks, let's get her done. Let's be prepared. Let's get her done and let's be prepared. Now, I think I told you about this scripture last night. And yes, it has a great deal to do with what we've been talking about with LA and with Los Angeles on fire. Hundreds of thousands of people have been affected by that fire. In 1 Corinthians chapter 3, starting in verse 15. If any man's work shall be burned, he shall suffer loss, but he himself shall be saved, yet so as by fire. Saved by fire. That holds great meaning for a lot of people right now, if they think about that. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you? The Spirit of God dwelleth in you. Let's be prepared, brothers and sisters. Let's do what we need to do to get there. Let's get her done. Kathy Pires says, Ron, what's the name of that document you need to us called? Kathy, I don't know what document you're talking about. Refresh my brain here. What document? Oh, stand for something. Don Patoka says stand for something. Know your God, know your environment, and know yourself. Okay? On July 25th, 2025, I will look that up and I'll put that out on the YouTube community. I'll put that out on the YouTube community within the next few days. Okay? Things are going to happen. Things are going to happen that are not good. Okay? I know President Trump's coming into power. In some ways, things are going to be better, but things are going to happen that are not good. Because of what Joe Biden has done, I think we're going to have a stock market crash. Our finances are going to go in the toilet. Okay? I'm just telling you. Today, the Dow went way down because the investors in the stock market know that the stock market is about to crash. That's because of Joe Biden. Okay? And he just got through sending another $25 million to Ukraine. He's laundering our tax money to Ukraine, and Ukraine is sending it back to Joe Biden and patting the Biden family pockets. Unreal. Yes, things are going to get better, but things are also going to get bad. And President Trump is going to have to right the ship. Okay? Fun is yet to happen, Don Patoka says. Don Patoka's right. Fun is about to happen. Brothers and sisters, I love you. This is Friday. This is Preparedness Friday. Yes, we talked about fires. We talked about preparedness. We talked about a little about everything. Now, folks, usually I take Friday or Saturdays off. If anything happens tonight or tomorrow, I will be back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. On Sunday, I will be back here on the air with our Sunday school class called Come Follow Me, the Savior Says. Come Follow Me, the Savior Says. I would love to have you here for our Sunday school class that will happen at approximately 12 to 12:30 Eastern Time on Sunday. 12 to 12:30 Eastern Time on Sunday. I would love to have each of you there. That would make a difference. I care about you. I believe in Jesus Christ. I know He's the Son of God. He's our Savior. He's our deliverer. And He's our King. He's my elder brother, and I love Him very much. He is whom I worship. Now, in closing, I'm asking God to protect all of you. I'm asking God to be with you this day and always. God be with you until we meet again. Like I said, I will be back here on Sunday morning, if not before. Have a good night. Enjoy your day. Whatever you do, enjoy it. May God be with you this day and always. I love you very much. We'll see you in the funny papers. Good night, everybody. Much love.